In the early 1960s, a man named Chan Thomas wrote something that didn't look dangerous. It was just a book. A strange one, yes, called The Adam and Eve Story. But not long after it was published, something unusual happened. The CIA classified it. Not in part, not quietly. They took it entirely out of circulation. For decades, the public never saw more than a few whispers about it. When it finally resurfaced, it was through the CIA's own Freedom of Information Act reading room. And even then, the document was heavily redacted, with entire chapters still missing. Why? It wasn't a military manual. It wasn't a weapon blueprint. It was a theory about how our world ends and begins again. And maybe that's what made it dangerous. Thomas's theory wasn't based on religion. Not really. He didn't write about Adam and Eve as biblical figures, but as metaphors, the last survivors of a world reset. According to his research, every 6,500 to 7,000 years, Earth experiences a sudden cataclysmic pole shift, not magnetic, but physical. Imagine the crust of the planet slipping in a single day, violently tearing continents from their foundations, massive tsunamis swallowing entire coastlines, mountain ranges crumbling, oceans sloshing hundreds of feet inland. He claimed this wasn't just a possibility, it was inevitable, and had already happened multiple times in Earth's forgotten past. Atlantis? Gone in one of these resets. Ancient civilizations lost under desert sands or polar ice? Victims of it. In his view, Earth was on a geological countdown, and the clock is still ticking. What made Chan Thomas's book so eerie wasn't just the theory. It was how it tied into global myths and records. He cited ancient texts from Sumer, Egypt, India, and Mesoamerica, all of which seem to reference the same kinds of world-ending floods and sky-darkening events. The Bible speaks of a flood that wiped out nearly all of humanity, and so does the Epic of Gilgamesh. Aztec stories tell of suns that rose and were destroyed over and over. Even Plato wrote about Atlantis, destroyed in a single day and night of fire and water. Thomas believed these weren't metaphors, they were memories. Echoes of a civilization we can't see anymore because its remains lie under oceans, ice sheets, and deserts. And he claimed those memories were left behind to warn us. But we forgot how to listen. This is the part no one can fully explain. Why would an intelligence agency care about a book written by a former aerospace engineer with a passion for geology and ancient history? Some theorize that parts of Thomas's work overlapped with classified research, like data from satellite-based geophysical surveys or early signs of rapid magnetic field anomalies. Others believe it had more to do with narrative control, keeping the public from chasing ideas that might lead to discoveries about ancient civilizations and their collapse. Because if Thomas was right, then our understanding of human history isn't just wrong. It's been erased. And whoever holds that truth holds power. To this day, the full version of the Adam and Eve story has never been released. Even in the CIA's declassified document, pages 6 through 57 are missing, a massive gap in the core of the book. Some say it described specific dates. Others believe it mapped future pole shift risks, citing real geological weak points. We don't know, because those chapters are still sealed. And when someone tried to upload the original to a public archive, it vanished. Accounts were deleted, domains taken offline. Why would a harmless theory book trigger so much quiet censorship? Maybe Chan Thomas was wrong. Maybe the cataclysm won't come. Maybe we'll live our lives without the sky falling or the ground shifting. But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the reason this book was hidden, buried, and erased was because it forced people to question, to wonder what our ancestors saw, to ask why so many ancient records talk about fire, water, and rebirth, to realize that the earth is far older, far more violent, and far more mysterious than we're taught, and to admit that the line between myth and memory may be thinner than we think.